What's going on, good people? Happy hump day, as they would say. As the Gap Band would say, you got me humping. Let me stop. Gotta sing, shout out to Uncle Charlie and the Gap Band. But hey, we got a little something quick for you today, nothing too long. We're gonna talk a little bit about Jalon Walkers' injury. So sit back, relax, we got you covered. It's bumper to bumper, dog. Let's go. Well, hopefully everybody is good on this wonderful Wednesday, as we would like to call it. But I wouldn't say it's so wonderful right now for first round pick Jalon Walker. We have an injury to this young man. He's missed 2 days of practice. They're holding him out. He's hanging around Troy Anderson and Darnell Mooney. So that's definitely not good from your first round pick to be missing in action like this. Now, the toughest thing we can say at this point for the Falcons is really just the fact that your first round pick is right now a no-show. I love Jalon Walker. He's at practice, but he's a no-show right now. We don't know what the injury is, but he's not getting critical reps at this time. And it's a lot of things that he's not getting that he needs right now, which is reps, understanding the playbook, getting the speed of the game down. And it's just one of those things. What's going on, Millie Mills? So when you sit back and look at it, what's going to hurt him right now is just the timing of things. Hopefully, it's not a serious injury to where it keeps him out of his rookie season and he misses a lot of action. However, I hate to say it, but we're not going to be missing anything at this point. All I can say is at this point, what's going on, Kerry? At this point, when you sit back and pay attention to the Falcons at this point and you look at how they address the pass rush, you got to remember they still have Leonard Floyd. You still have Zach Harrison. They're going to move D'Angelo Malone to the linebacker spot, but he understands the position. And when you really look at it, you still got Arnold Ebiketie at this point. So you're not lacking for the pass rush right now. You got a young rookie at this point that is still trying to get his foot in the game. So right now, we don't expect much. Maybe it's not that serious of an injury. Maybe it is a serious injury. But the one thing that we know is Coach Ali says we need him back. D-line, his position coach, they said they need him back ASAP. So when you talk about this kid being not just an edge rusher, but an off-the-ball linebacker, he has a lot of free range at that position. And there's a lot of things that we're going to be able to explore and be able to do because of what we have. Now, I know everybody's hearing about the emergence of JPJ. JPJ is an edge rusher. He is not an off-the-ball linebacker. That is not his forte. His specialty is going to get the quarterback and playing in the running game. So I'm not worried about it because we have a good rotation. And you got a veteran in Leonard Floyd who you brought here to pick up the slack and really bring in at least 7-8 sacks this year. If you get double-digit sacks out of him, that's even better. But my expectations for Leonard with a 17-game season, you at least need to have 7.5 to 8 sacks. That's me. But again, we already know how this goes. We already know what happens. In this situation, with a guy being so young in his career and already starting off with injuries, that's not good. But there are many players that have started off this way. I can give you a great example. You got Hall of Famer Curtis Martin, who dealt with injuries his whole career. And Curtis was a guy who came into the Patriots situation with Bill Parcells and started off with injuries. You go back and look at that. So at this point, you have to just give the kid the benefit of the doubt. Okay, if he's hurt, he's hurt. We have a rotation. I love Jalon Walker, one of my favorite Bulldogs, but at the same time, I'm looking at the business of the Atlanta Falcons. We as a organization have loaded up for sure on this defense because of injuries and because of situations. Think about it. The secondary is loaded at this point. You got your edge rushers. You got your linebacking core that's loaded up. This is what this organization did this year with those moves that they made. It's the reason why we went and got JPJ. JPJ is one of the best and is going to be one of the best in the business if he can stay healthy. He brings a mean streak and a nastiness to this team that we've lacked in a long time. Jalon Walker is right up there with him. So his presence will be missed. But the other thing that you have to also look at is the learning curve is really going to be a little steep for Jalon coming in the middle of the season. But maybe with him being able to see how it's done, it helps out. So what's going on, A1? You know how it is, man. Y'all check that boy out. A1 Forever Sports does Hawks, Braves, Falcons, does it all. Definitely check him out. He's got great work. What's going on, Tyree? My guy. But I mean, there's so many things out here that you have to pay attention to. And the other thing is this: you got Diablo Malone. I'm sorry, not Diablo Malone. Excuse me. You got Diablo from the Raiders. I was thinking about D'Angelo Malone. Y'all forgive me for that. But when you look at Malone, Malone can also play off the edge, as I said before. But Diablo is going to be a guy that's from sideline to sideline. You have a great defensive mind in Jeff Ulbrich that works with Raheem Morris. When you look at these guys all together, it's really going to be back and forth. You're going to have packages. You're not going to have guys that are going to be stuck. They're not going to be stuck or whatnot and in mud trying to figure out who they're going to use, because with the depth, the speed, and the aggressive nature of this defense, you're going to see a lot of players that are playing off ball. You're going to see a lot of coverage blitzes, You're going to see a lot of safety blitzes. This is going to be mixed up. You're also going to see some cat blitzes, pretty much corner blitzes. You're going to see some of these corners that we have coming up the blitz. When you look at an old brick defense, it's a mixture of a lot. Let's just be honest. And you also have Jerry Gray coaching the secondary. Everybody keeps forgetting that guy. One of the best in the game and was a damn good player. But then the other thing I look at is this, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. You have to pay attention to Coach Nate Ollie. Nate Ollie is going to bring the best out of our defensive line and our pass rush. So even with Walker having a mysterious injury, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't give a damn at this point. I don't want Walker hanging around with Troy Anderson right now. That's bad juju right there. I understand that's a teammate, but listen, we can't have Jalon Walker having a penthouse suite right next door to Troy Anderson's penthouse suite. You know, the tapioca. I call it the tapioca and Jello suite. You get what I'm saying? When you talk about tapioca pudding and Jello, that right there is served in that Piedmont Hospital along with meatloaf. Just saying, you don't want it there. But again, we're going to see how this goes. We're going to see what happens. And we're also got to see how Coach Raheem is going to handle this. And also, what information are they going to leak out to the media? Because there's a lot of things right now that they're trying to keep under wraps and they're trying to keep quiet at this point. But you can't keep things quiet when your number one draft pick is on the side. You can't. And when you have him on the side, it's noticeable. Because think about it, you still have fans coming to training camp viewing this, and they see him. Yeah, he's getting mental reps, which is cool, but for him being a first round pick, he's got to be a starter. That's an automatic position. He's got to earn it. He's going to have to work. It's not going to be handed to him. But as a first round pick, most of your first round picks are starters, unless you're in a situation like Jerry Rice was, where he sat behind Dwight Clark, who was already proven. And they also had Freddie Solomon, who was another proven wide receiver that he had to sit behind. But looking at Jalon, we didn't have a great pass rush last year. We were solid, but it wasn't great. At this point, we just have to trust the process. No, it's not going to be fun. We're going to be worried about it. What's going on, Mr. Bigelow, a.k.a. Zulu? What's happening with you? Appreciate you for stopping by, showing some support today. You have to look at everything that the Falcons are putting out here. The Falcons have been putting out a lot of great energy. You saw the press conference with Terry Fontenot the other day talking about the future of this team. We don't know which way it's going to go, but this is a prove-it year for a lot of people. Then you look at Arthur Blank. I don't wish death on anybody. I don't say anything, but just being honest. Yeah, he might go. I might go before Mr. Blank, but let's be honest. Mr. Blank don't have too many more years for a rebuild at this point. Just being honest. Now, if he fights all the way to the end like Al Davis, I can respect it. But I think Arthur Blank wants to get that Super Bowl trophy and wants to ride off into the sunset and pass it on pass on a successful franchise to his son. So, looking at that, you have the future right now with this defense. Atlanta has a great offense. We're going to have that. Penix is going to do his thing. Bijan, Tyler Algier. But here's my thing. Right now, we're looking at an injury of Jalon Walker. What I don't want to see is Bijan being hurt. Knock on wood. What we have to do while we have the services of Tyler Algier that's here right now, give him a lot of the load of the carries too. You've got to split those carries. And whoever the third string running back is, you have to have them in the rotation because having a three-headed monster in that backfield is much better than you just having a workhorse now because the way that Bijan runs is like a deer through a minefield. It's beautiful to watch, but it's a lot of non-contact injuries that happen with guys that are explosive like that. And it's only a matter of time. Now, I pray that God keeps his hand. I pray every day that God blesses that young man to have longevity and no kind of injuries. Now, I'm a Tyler Algier fan. I stand 10 toes down for my man Tyler Algier. Love him. He's a William Andrews clone. And it's just the honest truth. We just don't use him enough. Now, we're gonna have injuries this year, ladies and gentlemen. This is a part of the game. This isn't patty cake. This is football. You're gonna have injuries. Now, the thing that you have to have is the depth, and Atlanta has addressed the depth. Now, the question is, how do you prepare your depth for this season? How do you have your guys ready to go just in case something like this happens? That's my question. What can you do to put yourself in a situation to continue to be successful? Depth, preparation, DP, depth and preparation. And yeah, I'm coining it here first. So if I hear anybody else using it, I want my 10%. I don't want 10%. I want 50%. I want half. So you have to have DNP, depth and preparation. That's what you have to have. And the one thing that I can say Atlanta's loaded up on has been depth this year. We still have some things that I feel as if we need a little bit more depth on, but I think they've addressed a lot of the needs. At this point, we got to get the preparation correct. Like Raheem was saying in the press conference yesterday, you can't have guys fighting. I love the passion, but you have to use the reps wisely. That's all he was saying. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm glad we don't have a team full of punks. I'm glad that we got guys that are gonna fight because what happens is now that you have an attitude, now that you're gonna have competition and you have that type of motivation within camp, Jalon Walker is probably chomping at the bit to get on the field. Because guess what? The other first round pick, JPJ, he's standing out right now. He's getting the headlines. He's becoming the top alpha dog on this defense. Jalon wants to be in that fold. Yeah, they're friends, but it's a business. It's pretty much a competition at this point. Who's going to be out there? Who's going to produce? And who's going to do what? Now, I'm looking at it from this standpoint. Sometimes blessings come in the sky. Maybe God might have something for this young man where he said, "No, I need you to rest a little bit." And maybe he explodes onto the scene when he steps on the field. We don't know. We have to wait and see. Now, it's the same thing. Some rookies catch on fast, some don't. But what I will say is this. I really believe that the Falcons are in a great position to continue to make noise. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. If we step out and do what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, we will win the division. We will get to the playoffs and we will win a playoff game. But competence has to be in place. That's what I got for you. Competence, DNP, depth, and preparation. Lastly, you have to stay healthy. If you can keep this team healthy and the core of this team healthy, and you're able to use the rotational pieces to come in and fill in and convincingly whoop ass, you have a true situation where things can turn for the best for this team. I see a lot of beautiful things happening. It was cool to see everybody at training camp, pictures. Sorry I couldn't be there this year. I will be there next year. So it's what it is. Shout out to K Dub. He did his thing out there representing for the bird cage and standing 10 toes down for the cage out there. Next time you're going to have some reinforcements. But I'll say this here. When you pay attention to the excitement around the city, you haven't seen this type of excitement in a long time. The best part about it is people have something to believe in right now. But I'll say this. Let's see what it looks like outside of camp against somebody else when the bullets are live. If we can put our foot between people's hip pockets and pretty much take their money from them and snatch their chains from them, I'm a believer. I've already said my prediction for this team is 10-7 is the worst, 11-6 is the best, and we will win the division. I stand on that. Now, if I'm wrong about it, hey, it is what it is. But that's my belief. We will win this division. We will get to the playoffs, and we're gonna make noise this year. So, with that being said, I definitely appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me for a quick 15 minutes, man. Y'all tune in tomorrow night as the Birdcage LLC comes to life when we actually talk about some of these things that I'm speaking on and a lot more things that we're going to have out here. And please make sure if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us out or whatnot so we can keep presenting the great content that we're giving you in some of the interviews as well. Also, if you're on Twitter, we thank you for tuning in to our Twitter page. I'm sorry, X page. Can't say Twitter anymore. X. Definitely appreciate you. We love you guys. And we got a hell of a season coming up. And the Birdcage is going to be here every step of the way. And we're going to give it to you like we always do. So you either get right or you get left. Go ahead and get right and hit that subscribe button and like. We'll catch you Thursday, 8 p.m. Ghost.